So this week is the 12th round of the current F1 season. That means we're already halfway through the season, which is crazy because it felt like it started like 3 days ago. And it's also very fitting that the British Grand Prix is this week because it's the start of the Oasis reunion tour, hence the background music. So in the lead up to the weekend, everyone forgot that there was a British Grand Prix going on, because we were more focused on Max's potential move to Mercedes. Yeah, who cares about Oliver Behrman's first home race? Let's talk about this instead. I like the prospect of it, especially considering Mercedes are probably going to have the best power unit 2026 onwards. I'm not sure if there's a power unit freeze like in the current regulations, but if there is, and considering that Mercedes might have the best one going forward, maybe it's a smart move for Verstappen. And also considering how unstable Red Bull looks like at the moment and Mercedes rebuild phase looking like it worked out, I think it's a smart choice for Verstappen. For George Russell, however, I feel really bad for that man. He did 3 seasons grinding it out at Williams for absolutely nothing in the end, just to hang out to dry, possibly moving to Aston Martin. Well, Aston Martin can still be a good outfit for Russell. Remember, they've got Adrian Newey. And hey, he looked really good in Adidas merch. McLaren have a new livery. I don't like it at all. People like it. It looks so messy. I don't know if it's the actual livery itself or if it's the placement of sponsors. Well, sponsors on the McLaren have been going out of hand lately. I've noticed that, like, really obviously, because it looks so messy, especially on the suits. And on this livery, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. V-Carb have a cool one though. Yeah, graffiti, grunge, and their merch looks cool as well. I might consider buying that if I actually have money because I'm poor. NordVPN, want to help a brother out? Anyways, let's finally talk some British Grand Prix. Arvid Lindblad filled in for Yuki Tsunoda in FP1. He didn't do too bad. And Oliver Behrman had a 10th-place grid penalty for a red flag infringement, which sucks because the one time he makes it to Q3, he has a 10th-place grid penalty. Franco Colapinto, man oh man, Franco. Last week, you were terrorizing Piastri. This week, you're crashing the car. Surprisingly, it didn't have that much damage like Charles Leclerc at Brazil a few years ago. I was super high on Franco Colapinto replacing Jack Doohan, because I thought he had a higher ceiling than Doohan, but right now, he's literally performing the same as Jack Doohan, with more F1 experience, considering how he was performing last year. But I did some reconciling. I think Sargent would have scored the points that he did last year, because the tracks where he scored their points are like tracks where Williams normally do good. And I like Franco. I'm not just gonna start jumping on the Franco Colapinto hate train. My Instagram profile picture is in front of Franco Colapinto's garage. It's just a bit disappointing to see where it led to. And considering it's Flavio Briatore, we might see Bottas in that seat come Belgium or Zandvoort. And Ferrari nearly gave me a heart attack. Oh my days. All that pace in FP1 just for him to get knocked out in Q1. Well, it wouldn't have mattered because Lewis qualifies P5. It was super close though. I haven't checked the sector times because I think Verstappen was still going to get pole, but that definitely would have been a front row at minimum. He was going much faster than Piastri. So your front 10 for the British Grand Prix is Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Antonelli, Behrman, Alonso, Gasly. But this is incorrect because there's grid penalties. Oliver Behrman is out of the top 10, so he's starting P18. Kimi Antonelli moved down to P10. And I believe Carlos Sainz should be able to get P9. Not bad for missing Q3. And Williams, their pace have been falling off recently. And I actually kind of saw it coming because all of their resources are into next year. And now time for the food segment. I'm joking, there's no food segment this week because every time I make a food segment in the race reviews, basically the segment where I review the local food of the country that's hosting an F1 race, they get less than 10,000 views. The one time I didn't, for Monaco, that got 14,000 views. So we're not going to do a food review if this gets like 10,000 views or more. But I'll definitely return it back for Belgium. And down in F2, Jack Crawford wins the feature race on the 4th of July weekend, signaling that America is indeed superior to Britain. Midway point of the video, be sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 10,000 by August. I know the initial goal was June, but I moved it back 2 months because none of the videos have been doing good. Let's try to reach 300 on Instagram. Anyways, let's talk about F1. My gosh, what a race. After 3 stinkers in a row, that race was class Oh my gosh, I could watch that 5 more times, man. Obviously, let's start off with Nico freaking Hulkenberg. Oh my god, man! After 14 years, 239 race starts, man ends up on the podium, and so many missed opportunities along the way. The most obvious ones being Brazil 2012, Germany 2019. Yeah, that was very bad. But now it was all worth it in the end. It came in style too. It wasn't like, oh, he got unlucky. No, this was a really good race from Sauber. I think the race execution was really good. It was a brilliant race as well, the best race of the season. And Nico is like the perfect veteran on the grid. It really doesn't make sense to why a front-running team has never picked him up throughout his career. I know there were the Ferrari rumors back in 2015. Then there was the Mercedes thing too, if Lewis didn't sign. But now here we are. I think this is a better ending than if he were to sign with the top teams, because what a fairy tale story. Hulkenberg finally ends up on the podium. And I think more people are starting to accept that he's a top driver on the grid. He's like top 7 right now. I really do believe that. No, so shout out Kamui Kobayashi, the last Sauber podium sitter. If you saw my Instagram story, had to bring out the Sauber shirt for this occasion. Sauber too, I mean, just last year they were in the trenches and they had absolutely zero hope for their future. But we probably should have saw that coming with Jonathan Wheatley. Even my preseason video, I said that, oh, Sauber will do nothing this season, and look where they are now, proving everyone wrong. It's not just Hulkenberg, Bortoleto is making good progress too. We'll talk about the rookies later, but I like where Sauber is going. When Audi come in, it could be an even better story, especially considering they have championship experience with Jonathan Wheatley, Mattia Binotto too, and he won championships with Ferrari in the 2000s. So he is credible, not as a team leader. And yeah, I think Sauber really did well with picking their personnel and just using 2024 as a rebuild year. And it's starting to pay off, and again, who knows how it will be like with Audi in the picture. Lewis Hamilton, oh boy. From missing the prime opportunity to put it on pole to this. I think if he was able to overtake Lando there, he could have won. But other than that, it just wasn't a great race from him. Just falling back in the wet weather. Although, yes, when he was in the midfield catching up to Stroll and Hulkenberg, he showed really good pace and was even within DRS of Hulkenberg, but he should have been able to complete a move on Nico because he's in a Ferrari, Nico is in a Sauber, and especially on the softs. He was terrible on the softs. And apparently Ferrari lost GPS of his car, which, oh my gosh, what level of incompetency is this? Yeah, it was a missed opportunity from Lewis to get his first podium with Ferrari, but easy steps going forward. I think it's coming maybe Hungary or Belgium. I think it's sooner than we think. But today was just such a missed opportunity. But it's also a bit of a step in the right direction. Stroll had a good race too. Damn, especially his early pace on the softs. I think it would have been P5 if Aston Martin put him on the mediums instead of the softs, because we've seen this literally the past 3 British Grand Prix, 2023, last year, and this year, because every single one of them has had some sort of late stage switch compound. 2023, Norris's hards were better in a 13-lap window than Hamilton's softs. Last year too, Verstappen's mediums were better than the Lewis's softs, and this year again, everyone on the softs towards the end just died out, and the mediums ended up being the faster tire. Why haven't any of the teams learned from this? It's very clear that the mediums are going to be the better tire in late race situation, but still they decide to go for the softs. I will never understand that. Even I've picked up on it, for crying out loud. Come on, put me in the strategy room, Ferrari. The rookies today, yeah, it wasn't great. It's very clear of their lack of inexperience. Antonelli was doing okay though until he had the DNF because of the incident with Hadjar. Well, to be fair to Hadjar, he literally couldn't see anything. That spray was insane because, you know, these new ground effect floors, that's why they kick up so much spray. That's why the tire guards would have been useless. And Oliver Behrman was very surprising. Does nothing the whole race, has a crash with Ocon, and suddenly he's on the back of George Russell. Now let's talk about the thing that probably altered the entire outcome of this race. Verstappen and Piastri. I think 10 seconds is too light of a penalty, That's like drive-through worthy. Like, okay, let's look back at Russell in Canada with Verstappen. I don't think that was a penalty because, you know, Russell was just trying to speed up the safety car. That was a different situation. In this instance, it was literally the end of the safety car period. And the way he braked, literally everyone on the grid had to react to it. In Russell and Verstappen's incident, only Verstappen had to react to it. In this one, look at how much it messed up the grid. Other drivers were getting alongside each other. I don't know what Piastri was thinking here. He slowed down way too much. I think he was probably going around 40 kilometers an hour. And Russell waited for Verstappen to be alongside him to speed up the safety car when Piastri braked when Verstappen was directly behind him. And the nerve of Piastri to ask for a driver swap. Mate, why should they penalize Lando for your own mistake? I like you, Piastri. I like you more than Norris, but this was terrible, this race. Anyways, Russell didn't learn anything from Singapore 2022. I'm really concerned for Charles Leclerc's mental health. So, genuinely, someone check up on him. Gasly turned into prime Hakeem Olajuwon with his defensive performance today. My gosh. And after all that, Lando Norris comes home to win his first home race. Piastri in P2 after a 10-second time penalty, and Nico Hulkenberg in P3. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Lando Norris. I'm not the biggest fan of him myself, but I'm really happy for him today because it's always a nice feeling when drivers win their home race. So yeah, especially seeing him with his mom in Parc Fermé, that was beautiful. And Nico Hulkenberg's first ever F1 trophy, probably might be his only ever F1 trophy, was made out of Lego. And it's so ironic that the man who ends Lewis Hamilton's Silverstone podium streak is the same person who crashed into Lewis Hamilton in his last race for McLaren. But anyways, that will do it for today's video. The next race is in 3 weeks. Oh my... I don't have any content prepared in that time, so I'm just gonna have to make some crap up. But thanks for watching today's video. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.